Do you struggle to understand Japanese speakers even though you can watch anime without a problem? It's so frustrating when you feel like you hit a wall and have no idea how to improve it, isn't it? Over my 15 years of teaching Japanese in a UK university, I've noticed a few common habits that secretly hold learners back. I'm going to explain exactly what these traps are, and I'll give you a proven step-by-step method on how to train your brain to process natural Japanese speech. Let's get started. The first trap is a subtitle trap. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying subtitles are always bad. In fact, they're a fantastic tool when you are first getting used to the language or trying to understand the whole picture. The traps happens when you rely on them too much. Let me share a personal story. When I first moved to the UK, I was determined to master English. Every evening, I'd sit on my sofa watching a BBC drama with subtitles on. I felt brilliant because I understood every word and thought. So, my English is really improving. But then I'd step outside and a neighbor would say a quick hello, or a shop assistant would ask me something very simple and I'd just freeze. My mind went blank. Without those little letters, I was lost. Does that sound familiar to you? Later, I saw this exact same pattern in my university classroom. Some of my hardest working students always use subtitle in their listening practice at home. I assumed they would do well in the exams, but surprisingly, they really struggle, getting only around 40% on their listening test. Meanwhile, the students who practiced without subtitles scored around 70% on average. That's when I knew for certain using subtitles can be easily become a trap. So, why does this happen? Here's what is going on in your brain. When subtitles are on, the brain takes a path of least resistance. Reading text is much easier than understanding fast natural speech, right? When I did this, I wasn't actually listening. I just reading a script with some background noise. You feel as though you are understanding, but the reality is you're improving your reading skills while your listening skills are left behind. Now, let's move on to the second trap, passive listening. This is when you listen passively, such as having a Japanese podcast running in the background while you are doing maybe washing up or commuting. You might think, at least I'm immersing myself. Our brains are amazingly good at filtering out information they consider is unnecessary. You are not actively trying to extract meaning. Your brain eventually treats Japanese audio as nothing more than white noise, like hums of a fridge. And here's something else that quietly makes this harder. Your textbook gives you a great foundation, but real natural speech goes a step beyond it. Real speakers use expressions that shift depends on the situation, sometimes casual, sometimes polite. The textbook don't fully explain. So, even when you are actively listening, you can still get stuck. That's why I put together a free guide. Beyond the textbook 10 Japanese phrases they never teach in your class. You will find a link in the description below whenever you are ready. For now, let's keep training your ear. So, how do we stop our brains from switching off? I remember learning a life-changing concept from one of my professors, Dr. John Field. He explained that there are two essential listening processes, macro listening and micro listening. Macro is a big picture, getting the gist. If the macro is an architecture, micro is a bricks. The individual sound how work link together another rhythm. This is where you build the walls brick by brick. You need both to succeed, but to really train your ears, you must approach them separately. So, how can we do this in your daily practice? It's a simple two-step method. The first step is doing a macro listening exercise. For this step, you listen without subtitles and focus on getting the main ideas. In this listening practice, one thing that will really help you is using a listening practice that has comprehension questions at the end. These will show whether you are understanding the main points. My listening videos all have these type of questions, so do check them out. You can also try to summarize the content yourself, including what the story is about, such as where, who, and why. Now, here's a tip. You can choose a summarize in your first language or Japanese. It depends on your level. The goal here is not practice translation. It's prove to yourself that your brain successfully extracted the overall meaning. If you got the gist, your macro listening is working. The second step is micro listening training. This step is used to diagnose which sounds of words you couldn't understand or hear. It's best done straight after your macro listening, so the big picture is still fresh in your mind. Let's go through this step by step. First, complete your macro listening. Start listening again, this time with subtitles on. And now, try to spot words in the subtitles you didn't quite hear, and now note them down. Once you got your list of tricky words, don't just leave it there. Go back and practice these specific moments using a technique called shadowing. This is where you actively retrain your ear on exactly the sound you gave your difficulty. Now, you might be wondering what is shadowing? Imagine you are a shadow of the speaker, repeating what they say right as they say it. It's one of the best ways to tune your ears and improve your speaking flow. I will explain the full technique in another video, so stay tuned. However, remember, balance is everything, and don't overdo it. Please separate your study time from your enjoyment time. Even 15 minutes of focused listening a day will make your anime time so much richer. Some of you may be using immersion listening, but rely on this alone will only take you so far. Adding in a short spell of focused macro and micro listening will be more powerful than immersion alone. The real magic happened when you consistently apply the techniques in this video. You'll finally start catch the real emotions, subtle nuances, and humor in Japanese. If you are ready to really start hearing Japanese, give my tips a go. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget to grab the free guide I mentioned earlier. The links in the description below. I love hear about your own experiences with listening trap in the comments. Thank you for watching today, and I'm looking forward to see you in next video. またね